Good day to all of you from wherever you're watching. Today's discussion, we're talking about 7 ways leaders can maintain their composure in difficult times. We all understand that COVID-19 has become a very resetting factor for all organizations and institutions, irrespective of their sizes. And we all acknowledge that it has made us to rethink how we lead organizations as leaders and how we lead the teams that we lead so that we can be able to continue producing at our maximum level and at the same time also meet our organizational needs. And so today's session focuses on 7 ways leaders can maintain their composure in difficult times towards high productive. One way they could do that is to not allow their emotions to get in their way. Daily leaders are confronted with different challenges that expect them to take decisions, and those decisions can impact people in different ways. And it's a leader's responsibility to ensure that they do not allow their emotions to get in the way. They must always remain objective, they must always remain focused, and they must also keep the big picture in mind. The second thing that leaders need to do to maintain their composure during difficult times, they must not take things personally whenever things do seem to get out of hand. It's a natural thing to happen when leaders are confronted by challenges that they may feel they're out of depth, and sometimes those kind of challenges have never happened before, and so they have no reference point. And sometimes when it involves people, there's always probability to take things personally. And so it's not advisable for leaders to pursue any situation from an emotional point of view, because they are very much likely going to lose their objectivity and get to a place of confrontation. And that does not give them an opportunity to lead objectively so that they can ensure nothing gets out of hand, so to speak, and impacts on their work negatively. The third thing they need to do, of course, is to keep a positive mental attitude. There is no challenge that is new that cannot be corrected, and there is no challenge that cannot be solved. So it's important for leaders to ensure that they have a positive mental attitude at all times whenever they're confronted by challenges, and they need to understand that challenges, like everything else, comes to pass. It's the most important thing is to know what they're going to learn out of that challenge and how they need to approach that challenge, ensuring that they are in the right perspective mentally, emotionally, and even physically, so that they can be able to provide leadership at that time when everybody else is looking up to them. In this segment of our conversation, we're talking about why leaders are important to have a composure in difficult times, especially when they're steering the organizations into directions of productivity and high performance for their teams. We do understand and recognize that times have changed so much, and especially after COVID-19, it has been very difficult for most organizations to transform and become active organizations they were pre-COVID-19 times. And so it's very important right now that leaders do experience an opportunity and embrace it to be able to redirect their efforts and the resources of the organizations towards building capacity for resilience in their own organizations. And it's very important in such times that when leaders are managing change in their own organization, when they're leading teams, when they're conceptualizing new areas of work, they must make sure that they do not get to a place where they get burnt out or they get exhausted to a point where they cannot be able to provide necessary leadership. And therefore, I would like to suggest that there are 3 ways I think that the leaders can do to keep composure in managing change, especially in different difficult times. One of them is that they must continually inspire trust in the teams that they lead. It is important to note that the teams will only perform to the extent that the leaders are able to demonstrate confidence, remain calm, and be able to project a vision that is compelling continuously to all that they lead. It's very important that leaders to know that they are actually the backbone of the organizations they lead. They're actually the backbone of the teams that they lead. In this case, it's important for leaders to maintain composure by ensuring that they do not create conditions where their teams, those that they lead, those that they interact with daily, sense a sense of despair or sense a sense of hopelessness to the extent that they become immobilized. So it's very important that leaders do inspire trust by the actions of that they take on a daily basis, by the words that they speak, by the thoughts that they think, and the actions that they take on a daily basis to ensure that they're building trust in the teams that they lead. The second thing that it's important for leaders to maintain composure is to ensure that the performance levels are not affected. We understand that especially during these times of